We start by opening a mocap video in Marionette, which you have recorded beforehand, the video with your performance. Then, as we have it here, we go and set in marker when you want your mocap to start, and then you add the out marker when you have your mocap to end. Then you have to check the calibrating settings to be the full body and lens calibration. You choose the pose which is the most clear for Marionette to recognize. For me it's this one. And then you hit calibrate. After the calibrating is done, you drag your video on your timeline, and then you check that clean motion has body, fingers, wrist, foot lock and pose extraction. Then you hit the clean motion to extract the mocap. During the recording, focus on clear pacing, strong holds and snappy transitions. When you have your video calibrated in Marionette, you have to focus on identifying the main key poses. For example, we could use this one, which is the waving motion. You identify where it starts and set the toggle key, and then you also identify the end of the action. It's this one. When you add the keys, you have to focus on adding two of them on the tails of your action. So if I have my key pose key in here, then I will add one more here and one more on the other side of it. So it's easier for you to make the pacing better in Blender afterwards, and it would be easier to adjust the in and out and drag it on the timeline to make it how you want that to be in the end. So when you are in Marionette, you have to add the keys on the both sides of those poses to make the timing adjustments easier and fix small animation issues directly in Marionette. For example, such issues like when your feet are in the wrong position or when your torso is possibly skewed to the side. You can choose the bones which you need and use shift click, then use the rotate and rotate it however you feel is better. Afterwards it will adjust the global position of the bones throughout the whole animation. After this you kind of identify all the possible problems, go through them in Marionette, add your key poses. Then you have your prepared and rigged character in Blender, and you have to use the Marionette add-on, which you just add in here, import it and enable it. Then when you retarget the bones on your character to the right bones in Marionette, here is my setup, you save the preset and then you can hit connect, and it connects this character to the Marionette live streaming. Then you can check if the pose is right for your character in show preview in DCC, and you have to make sure that you extract all the bones from Marionette. Then I check the show preview in DCC, and here in your Blender window you can see that how the pose looks on your character, and see if all the bones are correct, if you need to go through all of them again and retarget them in a different way, and basically you just check for any mistakes you might have with your mocap. Then after you're done with adding all the keys and fixing the foot lock and possible bones in Marionette and checking that your character retargeting works fine with the marionette rig. You can also copy the animation to DCC, and basically what it does, it extracts all the keys you have set and puts it into the Blender timeline for the later time adjustments and pacing. So when you have your keys inside of Blender, you go in and basically you just choose all the bones in your pose mode and then go into the action editor, and you have all your parts and blocks of your animation sequence, which you have pre-made by adding the key on the start of the action and the key on the end of the action, and then another key on the tails of it, so you can adjust them in Blender and basically make holds and make the editing, the timing of your poses and easier. So after you have that, you can kind of choose the chunks of your animation. For example, the waving part, it starts somewhere here and it ends here. So here, so you just choose this part on the timeline and then use S to scale them more or scale them more tight together, so it's just faster overall, which this makes the editing of the timing and just pacing of your animation much easier, because Marionette gives you an ability to extract the exact amount of key poses and keyframes which you need. So make sure and go through them once again before you translate them to Blender. After you are done with that, you can also adjust the holds, but also add the ease ins and ease outs on them, and basically interpolation as well. You can also work with it in the graph editor in Blender, and the fact that you have the controlled amount, the same as you would have with like blocking things out with a traditional animation and doing the blocking plus, you could just manipulate them the way you would do in the regular animation. If you have some kind of problems with your feet or sliding or the torso or any kind of stuff like that, you change that into the base layer. You go in and fix it in there. But if you have some problems like we have here, when the arm kind of goes through the body, you just go in the animation layer add-on for Blender, and choosing the bone of the wrist, you go in and you see where the action starts closer. You insert the keyframes on different parts, and then you go in and you fix the position of the hand in this motion so it doesn't go through the body. You maybe add the rotations, things like that, and then you see if it helped. And yes, it worked. And basically you fix things like that in your animation, and then you can also just merge and bake your animation layer using the Smart Bake, which bakes your keys down to your base layer without adding any new keys, which doesn't make your animation messier in the end. And after you're done with your fixes, and also just basically going through all the poses, main poses, and exaggerating them, making them more cartoony, you go in and adjust the pacing again, go through all your animations, and Marionette and its output lets you work with the mocap data closer to the way you would usually work with the traditional animations. We have what we have used for this character to make the transition snappier is that we have exported slightly more amount of key poses in the transitionings, for example, like here. And my advice would be to add slightly more keys on the transitionings in the Marionette when you're toggling the keys, so you could just use them more sparingly in the end in your animation in Blender, and you could just delete the ones which you don't want and go into them and, for example, just delete just some of them in between and just move the other part around so it creates the exact animation you want to have. And just remember that you can always go to the performance you initially recorded and just correct it and rely on it and make your animations similar to what you've had initially in mind. After you're done with that, basically you have your exaggerated, stylized, and cartoony animations with the help of the Marionette add-on. And yeah, you can go in and make as many changes as you'd like and just have a very clean and just pretty sequence. The fact that you have the animation layer add-on kind of helps you to go in and do as many iterations as you want with the animation, and it kind of the Marionette in general as a tool leaves you the fun part of making the animation more stylized and focus on that instead of just cleaning the twitches and fixing the bone breaks as you would usually have with other kind of mocap solutions. So this is a very great possibility to have. And in the end, you get the stylized and cartoony and exaggerated animation in Blender with the help of the mocap. So what we also have added to our character was the FaceCap from Marionette. And if transferring FaceCap data, the workflow differs slightly. First, the rig in Blender is the Faceit add-on. You have to have a Faceit add-on enabled in Blender and rig the character with 52 blend shapes, so it will recognize the FaceCap from Marionette. We have a setup of our character's face here, and what you basically do with face, you generate the blend shapes, and then you can generate the test action and see if you have any kind of mistakes or if you want to refine something. And if everything all right, you just go in with the same process of Marionette. Then you import the data from it to Blender and you clean out the in-betweens. And basically you just identify your key poses, but with the face, like your key shape keys. And then you delete the in-betweens, so it's not, the scene is not as heavy. And you have your FaceCap, which you can also, of course, exaggerate with the blend shape which you make and make the needed adjustments. Once in Blender, you identify the main facial expressions and delete the necessary in-betweens to remove the small twitches. This keeps the facial performance cleaner and basically just easier to stylize. After you're done with the steps, you are good to go and you have your animation. After going through all of the steps, you get the stylized mocap animation and you can enjoy your setting up your character in the scene. And yes, this is there. And after all of this process, you successfully have your cleaned up and stylized mocap inside of Blender. And now you can get the character inside the scene and set up your other steps